How to stop endless arguments with your partner, a personal story. It was a revelation that hit me like a ton of bricks 3 months ago. I suddenly saw the pattern that had been right in front of me for years. My wife had transformed every single conversation we shared into an argument. Not just some conversations, not most, but every single one. It began innocuously enough. I'd return home from work and casually mention the weather, attempting to initiate a normal, everyday chat. I'd say, "It's a lovely day outside," and she'd respond without hesitation, "Actually, it's unbearably humid." You never seem to notice how uncomfortable it truly is. I initially thought she was just having a rough day, but as the days turned into weeks, the pattern became undeniable. No matter the topic, I couldn't offer an opinion or make a simple observation without being corrected, contradicted, or challenged. Whether it was the food I cooked, "It's okay, but you always use too much salt," the movie we watched, "That wasn't even entertaining," "Your film taste is questionable," or even when I complimented her cooking, "You say that about everything." You don't really mean it. She had a response that turned our interaction into a debate. At first, I convinced myself that she was going through a phase, but as time passed, it became clear that this was a consistent pattern in our relationship. Life's pressures, be it work-related stress, hormonal shifts, or everyday challenges, led me to adopt a more empathetic and patient approach. I became mindful of my language, steering clear of sensitive subjects and treading cautiously within our home. Despite my efforts, my words seemed to fall on deaf ears. For instance, when I remarked on the heavy traffic during my commute, she countered, "It wasn't so bad when I drove through. You need to plan your route better." Even a casual comment about a busy grocery store elicited criticism, "You went at the wrong time. It's your fault for poor planning." The pattern became so predictable that I could almost guess her responses. If I expressed something positive, she'd find a flaw. If I shared a negative experience, she'd downplay it. Remaining neutral only prompted her to push me to take a position, just so she could disagree. It was mentally draining, as every interaction felt like an unwanted debate. I began avoiding conversations, which backfired as she accused me of being distant and non-communicative. One day, I decided to test my hypothesis by mentally recording each exchange we had. The findings were deeply unsettling. For instance, when I casually remarked that the weather was pleasant, she countered that it was unbearably hot. When I shared my enjoyment of a song playing on the radio, she dismissed it as overplayed and irritating. Even something as simple as suggesting pizza for dinner led to her insisting we had it too recently, despite it being over 2 weeks ago. However, the moment that truly pushed me over the edge was when I made what I thought was the most harmless observation imaginable. Glancing out the window, I commented, "The sky looks incredibly blue today." Her response was immediate and unexpected, "It's more of a cyan color. You don't really observe things accurately." I found myself frozen, staring at her, questioning when my wife had transformed into someone who would argue over the color of the sky. This wasn't the woman I had married. The woman I married used to relish conversations, seek common ground, and occasionally even agree with me. That night, as I lay in bed, it hit me that we hadn't shared a single peaceful conversation in months. Not once had she simply listened, acknowledged my thoughts, or, heaven forbid, agreed with something I observed. Every casual remark turned into a correction, every opinion sparked a debate, and every attempt at normal human interaction felt like a battle I was destined to lose. It wasn't because I was in the wrong, but because she seemed determined to prove that I was wrong about everything. I began to observe her interactions with others more closely. With her friends, she was charming and agreeable. With her family, she was kind and accommodating. Yet, with me, every exchange felt like a contest. Our daughter received her patience and understanding, but with me, it was a different story. Every word I uttered was met with criticism, as if my thoughts and expressions were inherently flawed. It was a wake-up call, a realization that hit me hard. This wasn't a phase, it wasn't stress or overwhelm. She had intentionally created a pattern of conflict in our conversations. I had become her verbal target, the one person she could pick apart with ease. I wondered if I had missed the signs, if my desire for peace had blinded me to the growing tension. Had I, in my eagerness to avoid conflict, inadvertently encouraged this behavior? The answers didn't matter. What mattered was the clarity I gained that night. My wife had declared a war of words, and I had been unknowingly engaged in a battle. Lying awake, staring at the ceiling, I knew change was necessary. I couldn't continue living in a world where every interaction turned into an argument. I couldn't spend my life tiptoeing around my own home, fearing my words would be misused or misunderstood. The woman I shared a bed with had made her stance clear: my words were never enough. She had transformed our marriage into a never-ending debate, and I was always on the losing end. That night, I made a decision. I stopped trying to salvage our conversations and started strategizing an end to this toxic dynamic. It was time to reclaim my voice and find a way to restore peace and understanding in our relationship. The following week, I made up my mind to try out a little experiment. I was curious to find out just how deep this urge to debate everything ran. Would she genuinely challenge every single thing, no matter how straightforward? Or was I perhaps reading too much into it and getting overly worked up about nothing? On Monday morning, I dipped my toes in the water with the simplest possible remark I could think of. As I poured myself a cup of coffee, I casually said, "Water is wet." Without even glancing up from her phone, she shot back a reply. Actually, that's a widespread myth. Water by itself isn't wet at all. It's the substance that causes other things to become wet, but the water molecules themselves don't have the sensation of wetness. There I stood, coffee in hand, just gawking at her. She'd managed to transform a basic fact about water into a deep philosophical discussion on what wetness really means. This wasn't just a regular difference of opinion anymore, it felt like something more extreme, almost compulsive. Then came Tuesday, and I decided to test her with something even more evident. Peering out through the kitchen window, I pointed out, "The grass is green." Her comeback was immediate and detailed. "Well, it's closer to a lime green in certain spots, and in others, it's much deeper. You're making a broad assumption here. And with all this dry weather we've been having, a lot of it has actually turned to a yellowish brown." To clarify for anyone new to these kinds of debates, this is a classic example of how people can dissect everyday observations into finer points. Think about how colors can vary based on lighting, health of the plant, or environmental factors like drought, which might cause grass to fade or brown out, turning what seems like a simple green into a spectrum of shades that challenge our basic perceptions. Stepping outdoors, I admired our lush green lawn, a simple observation I thought. But even this sparked a bizarre correction. On Wednesday, a bizarre exchange unfolded. I casually mentioned our daughter's birth on a Tuesday, only to be swiftly corrected. It was Wednesday, she claimed. Confidently, I presented our daughter's birth certificate, clearly stating Tuesday. Unfazed, she argued that considering the time zone difference from my parents' location, it would indeed be Wednesday there. However, our daughter's birthplace and our current residence shared the same time zone, rendering her argument invalid. She seemed more inclined to dispute documented facts than accept being mistaken. By Thursday, I realized her disagreements extended beyond opinions. She challenged reality itself to assert her correctness and my error. The climax arrived on Friday evening. As we sat on the couch, I uttered the three words that should never ignite conflict in a healthy relationship: "I love you." Her response still echoes hauntingly. My partner's perspective on love left me stunned. She claimed it's merely a chemical reaction, dopamine and oxytocin, not a genuine emotion. This sparked a peculiar weekend. I decided to observe and mentally record our interactions, and the findings were unsettling. On Saturday, when I complimented the pleasant coffee aroma, she attributed it to a non-existent vanilla candle. Later, I admired our neighbor's new car, only to be informed it was leased, and I couldn't judge its quality without driving it. Even my praise for her cooking was met with skepticism, suggesting I was merely hungry. Sunday was no better. Each interaction followed a similar pattern. For instance, I found the church